James West here, reporting from Houston, Texas for Climate Desk. Now, one of the biggest uncertainties in climate science right now is the role of clouds. What better way to work that part out than flying right through them? That's what NASA scientists aboard this aeroplane think. Welcome to NASA's biggest airborne laboratory. You're coming with us today on an 8-hour NASA flight mission.
When you read these big IPCC climate assessments, what's the biggest uncertainty? There's two, right? The role of aerosols and clouds. Clouds is probably bigger than aerosols.
That is a piece of a puzzle that right now we are missing.
You can't get the models right if you don't understand the chemistry and the process.
Now we're being told we've got to get on. The doors are about to shut, so let's go aboard. Every time you turn on the weather, every time you hear a climate change prediction, that information has to come from somewhere. And it starts by getting sucked out of the air from planes like this.
So this mission is to try to understand the emissions from the surface, so mostly biogenic emissions, so from trees and other plants.
Right now we're flying to our very first part of this experiment on the DC-8. Over Arkansas, there's a particularly pungent bouquet of emissions that scientists are interested in measuring.
Well, these emissions lead to both aerosols and to molecules that both destroy and create ozone. So these are very important things to understand for climate studies.
How it will manifest itself, it will be in more accurate and more reliable predictions.
So what we're doing is taking a series of flyovers, each at a different level of the atmosphere, scooping up those emissions, testing them, and hopefully scientists are going to see exactly what's in this column of air all the way up.
The data that we collect in one flight can keep busy 60 scientists and students for 3 years, 4 years. We're still studying data from data collected 20 years ago.
In fact, this particular mission today is its most heavily equipped in its nearly 30 years of service. Each one of these consoles here is a specially equipped scientific instrument designed to collect all sorts of different data in real time.
And this instrument here tracks the sun.
We're looking at mist chambers. They're used to strip soluble gases.
This black line is the CO2. It's about 390 ppm right now.
We're putting these filters in the bags that we've got the aerosols that we trapped out of a certain amount of air. And so we're sampling up here about 150 liters a minute.
That ultimately flows back into the operational models. It flows back into what goes on TV every day.
Anyway, I got to get this sample going.
Yes, you do it. It's a busy man at work. We can't let him rest. Well, get this. We've just spent 2 hours crisscrossing this one cloud formation. In, back out again, back in again.
Then they grow, and we track them as long as we can, and then we let it go.
Even one cloud can hold a host of answers to the mysteries of climate change.
The patterns of, where the clouds are, what type of clouds we see, what kind of weather systems they're associated with it, that'll all be shifting in a shifting climate, in a world with climate change.
Then the big spark is when we actually get the meat on the grill. And then it will be some time to process it.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
I probably would make a time machine.
I would make medicine for the sick.
I'd probably invent something new.
我会赢到5个总冠军戒指。
If I could have an extra 5 years to live.
You said 5, right?
5 years. It's a long time.
I would try to fix everything I did bad.
I would bring my uncle back because I miss him very much.
I would get more hamsters.
I would probably want to go looking for dark matter.
I think I'd go looking for aliens.
If I could live an extra 5 years. I was thinking about making like a helicopter, like a wooden helicopter, but I don't have any wood.
I want to go check out the moon sometime.
I'd probably teach my sister not to hate tuna.
I would try and invent a machine that lets you run at light speed. If I had 5 more extra years to live, I would be the boss of all the chipmunks.
Eu cantaria na frente de 1 milhão de pessoas.
I don't really know. I think I'd do anything. Why are you asking me that?
I have run these canyons for 6 million years. I have traveled from the Rocky Mountains to the deserts, through scorching heat and freezing cold, from the land of the dinosaurs to fields of food.
I lend my hand to 7 states, 2 countries, 9 national parks,
and 36 million people across an arid West.
I am not the strongest or the largest, but I am the hardest working.
People love me.
My playfulness,
my beauty,
my power,
my life. But I don't think I can offer any more.
I am tired.
I am tired,
tapped,
and tied. Of the hundreds of major rivers in the world, I am one of the few who no longer kisses the sea.
Battles to harness my soul have been won and lost. Use me wisely, and I will sustain you.
Use me like you have, and I will break. My name is Red. The Grand River Red. The American Nile.
The Canyon Maker. I am the Colorado River.
And I am the most endangered river in America.
broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Good morning! Happy Monday! What is it? This is like June 30th?
Almost July.
Almost July already? Good. You know what? I miss the snow. I miss the snowstorms we used to have. I miss the polar vortexes.
No more hot cocoa.
Yeah, I missed that. I've had enough of the heat, man. Let's have the snow. I'm ready for it. Happy June 30th, like I said, Monday. My name is Peter Ogburn. I am sitting in for Bill Press today. Bill has just today off. He will be back tomorrow, so until then, you're stuck with me. Thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. How do you tune in? Well, I'm glad you asked. We are streaming live video on youtube.com/talkertv. That is TAWKR TV. On the YouTube, you could also listen to us on your favorite progressive radio station. All around the country, several fine radio stations out there. Go to our website, BillPressShow.com, to check us out. You can also stream audio on the TuneIn app on your smartphone. It's the TuneIn app. Just look for the Progressive Voices channel. We are right there for you. Please check that out. It's a great way to get the show. My name again is Peter Ogburn. You should follow the show at BP Show on Twitter. Do that at BP Show. And you can follow me at Peter Ogburn. Look who's back. Look who's back.
So happy to be back.
Elisa Murphy back running the board. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. You were out of town last week. Everything is okay. We held on the fort. We missed you. What were you doing?
It was my sister's wedding.
Oh.
And actually, I went out to Block Island, which I'd never been before, right off the coast of Rhode Island.
Oh, okay, all right.
And it's beautiful. I've been in Nantucket, I've been to Martha's Vineyard, but Block Island is far above both.
I've never been to Rhode Island.
You would love it.
Yeah?
It's like, it is the ocean state, so there's beaches like every other.
Was it an outdoor wedding situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
My sister, the surgeon, of course, had the mansion on the beach.
Oh, whoa.
It was a pretty...
Your sister's a surgeon?
Yes. So I kind of pale in comparison. They do know my name, so it's okay.
Congratulations to your sister.
Yes.
And of course, that I know that feeling. No, but not like I have my cousins, right? Like I have these cousins that one is like a model, was almost an actress. One is this whiz kid. One was a sports star. And my grandmother would always just be like, "Oh yeah, this is."
Well, you won the spelling bee though.
This is Peter. He fixes radios. I'm like, no, I don't fix radios, Grandma.
Oh no!
Yeah, no, I know the
I completely know how you feel.
Sister is a surgeon. Oh boy,
I know.
That's a tough one.
Can't compare.
Well, welcome back.
Yes,
it's nice
great to be back.
You can reach out and call the show at 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377. Please do that because we have a lot of questions loaded and ready for you today. Need to get your opinion and take on these. The only way you can do it is if you call that number, 866-55-PRESS. And when you do, you will talk to Alicia Cruz, who is there manning the phones. Again, 866-55-PRESS. And, of course, on the video operation, Cyprian Bolding has, like, a 2-week vacation.
I know, I heard.
He's gone forever. So we've got Monty Kanzler in here running the video operations. Things just get, when Cyprian's not here, it's just totally different vibe.
It really is.
Things run on time. We're not worried about anybody showing up. No.
You're not scared of the door. That's the main threat.
You never know when Cyprian is going to come bounding through that door into the studio. Monty is rock solid.
Yes, he is.
We have Monty. We know exactly what to expect from Monty. All right, so, good weekend. Little low-key weekend. Big soccer weekend.
Yeah, it was.
A couple of shootouts. This is how soccer should be. There were a couple of shootouts over the weekend with let's see, it was the Netherlands and Mexico.
Yes.
Netherlands putting Mexico away.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, that was not a shootout. But the Chile match, that was a big shootout with Brazil. Brazil winning that one. So exciting. And
It really was.
And then there was another shootout yesterday, Costa Rica and Greece.
Yeah.
Another
So we're
shootout.
finally getting into the real threats here.
Should not be a tie.
I know.
There should be no ties ever.
And in football, actually, there's only been, I think, 3 or 4 ties.
Yeah.
It
Someone made the
rarely
point-
ever happens.
Someone made the point last week when we were bitching about soccer, leaning into like, oh, football ends in ties too.
Yeah.
I can count on one hand the number of times. Yeah, that a football match is in a tie. It rarely ends in a tie. Just have a shootout.
Exactly.
It's great. And there are all these people I saw carping on Twitter going, oh, this is BS. This is just like ending a baseball game with a home run derby or an NBA match with free throws. No, it's not.
Yeah, everybody needs to go home with like a spirit award, right?
No, it's defense. You have defense. You have the goalie. You have the kicker, and the goalie stop a couple of shots. And the kicker miss a couple of shots. It's not so easy to just drill home a couple of kicks.
Yes.
Anyway, I was so in. I think, by the way, and I'd love to get your take on this at 866-55-PRESS. I think moving forward, I might be into soccer.
Really?
Yeah.
You're turning.
I might turn a little bit.
You're evolving as a person.
It's so much fun. And you know what it is? First of all, I don't get too sidetracked on soccer, but let me just say, if you're going to watch soccer, right, you could watch it at home, right? But if you go to a bar or a restaurant or somewhere that's showing it, the anxiety and the tension that builds up among these like 50, 100 people that are in the bar with you all together. There are no commercials in soccer matches.
I just want to say when I arrived at Block Island on Thursday, and it was probably about 11:45, and I left my sister to go watch the soccer match.
Good for you.
At a bar.
Good for you.
It was
That's
packed,
the way to do it.
and it was a really like intense
big
moment.
bar?
It really is. It's so great.
Everybody rises and falls, and because there are no breaks, you never get a chance to catch your breath.
The American spirit is alive and well.
The Americans taking on Belgium tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Very exciting.
I'll be in a bar watching. I'm sure Bill will be. Bill and I watched the American game in a bar last week.
Oh, you did?
We did.
Oh, how
We
fun.
did. It was a lot of fun. Bill got hammered.
Did he really?
No, he didn't. No, of course he didn't. Of course he didn't. Okay. By the way, you mentioned you were in Rhode Island.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know this, but the governor of Rhode Island had this decree over the weekend. The state appetizer?
Yes,
He
the official
declared
state
an
appetizer.
official state appetizer, which is calamari. Here is Governor Lincoln Chafee.
There's a lot of cynicism, but I was down here for an event a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago, and the fishermen were all saying, hey, we want our calamari bill. So I said, well, they're onto something.
They want their calamari bill.
Yes, they're very serious about their seafood in Rhode Island.
Explain to me why Rhode Island has calamari as their state appetizer. Is that their thing?
Yeah, I mean, calamari is really big there, but all of like oysters, mussels, clams.
But he drilled down specifically onto the calamari.
And I did read about it. It has to have the calamari with the sweet peppers.
Okay,
with the peppers. See that? So it's a real calamari.
So that's the difference. Because if you go, everybody serves calamari now. It used to be exotic food, right?
Yeah.
Everybody serves it with like a little marinara situation. But the sweet peppers is the thing in Rhode Island.
Yeah, and it really makes it more of kind of a meal.
Okay.
Not so much just like,
you
having
get your
like French
vegetables.
fries. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your fried sweet peppers.
Yeah, that's all you need.
I'm kind of a hell nut. I think I'm just picking some vegetables here. Some deep fried sweet peppers with my calamari. All right. Well, good stuff. All right, so let's kick right off in a topic that I do need your help on. And again, I need you to dial in at 866-55-PRESS or find us on Twitter at BP Show. And we are talking about Hillary Clinton. I know. Everybody's talking about Hillary Clinton. Everybody's talking about 2016. What's going to happen? Is she or isn't she? We've been focusing a lot on her book, which came out a couple weeks ago, Hard Choices. And she has had a couple of missteps. Let's just say, let's call them missteps, okay? When she was talking about the book, she had some things to say about her wealth and her money. She was asked about what kind of hardships they faced. You remember the clip, the one that she had when she was interviewed by Diane Sawyer, where she talked about how they were, quote, dead broke?
We came out of the White House not only dead broke, but in debt. We had no money when we got there, and we struggled to, piece together the resources for mortgages, for houses, for Chelsea's education. It was not easy.
Dead broke. Mortgages for houses.
Ouch.
It's a problem. I'm sorry. It is, but it is a problem. Meanwhile, the question begins emerging of whether or not Hillary Clinton is out of touch, whether or not she could be president, whether or not she understands the real struggles of Americans when she's out there talking about how leaving the White House, they are dead broke, and how they're having struggles paying the mortgages on their houses. It's a real issue, folks. I'm sorry. You could say that it's a ginned up scandal, and it's something that Republicans want to hammer on. You would be right in saying that. However, there's a real issue there about how Hillary Clinton talks about her wealth. Fact of the matter is, it's okay to be rich. There's nothing wrong with owning up to the fact that you are rich. John Edwards was a very rich politician. Look, we know how that story ended. However, John Edwards was very rich. He was a lawyer, made a lot of money. And when he was running for president, he talked about the two Americas. And he said, look, I was lucky enough to make a lot of money. However, there are a lot of folks out there that need help. And I want to help with the two Americas. I want to help bridge that gap. I want to work on that. He came from one side of the aisle. A lot of Americans live on the other side of the aisle. Bill Clinton did a great job about talking about wealth when he was president and running for president all those years ago. Look, I worked very hard. I came from a single mother. I worked my butt off. I made a lot of money from it. I'm glad that I did. This country afforded me a lot of opportunities. But I know that isn't the story for everybody, and I want to work for those Americans. You can write that script. It's not that hard to come out and say, oh, I'm dead broke, and I'm having trouble paying mortgages on my houses. It is out of touch, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. Andrea Mitchell from NBC was talking about this over the weekend and put it pretty clearly, I think.
It's a little bit of lack of self-awareness when she talks about being dead broke, and she then tried to fix it, but still not getting the language, politically correct, if you will, to really understand that she is a little bit out of touch, despite all of her work and all of her connection to hardworking people in the middle class. She doesn't quite realize that, as Ruth Marcus wrote in the Washington Post, she should stop giving paid speeches. She should stop asking colleges to pay even out of a foundation. She's got enough money, just let it go.
Okay, couple of things I want to tackle out of that Andrea Mitchell clip. First of all, out of touch. Yes, I agree. I agree that Hillary Clinton might be a little bit out of touch when it comes to the money thing, okay? You cannot act like you have had, that you have money problems when you're out there charging $250,000 for a paid speech. Good for her, by the way. Go make that money. You were First Lady of the United States. You were Secretary of State. You were senator from New York. That is a person whose life experience I would like to hear about. And as a college student, that is someone that you should look up to and try and take some life lessons from. Worth $250,000? Maybe. Worth paying? Yes, absolutely. That's what colleges do. I mean, if not her, who else? All right, people are already mad on Twitter, by the way. I'm tweeting at Peter Ogburn. People have found me on there to yell at me. Holly Tooker says, it's a problem because jerks keep beating this dead horse. Hillary Clinton put herself out there on this. She put herself out there on this. And Bill Clinton has doubled down on it. He sort of last week went out and said, she's right. We had a lot of money problems. Money problems to people like Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton versus money problems to a single mother or a widowed dad or an elderly couple, who saw their life savings go kaput. Those are two totally different issues. And I would call one of them dead broke. I wouldn't call the other dead broke. Politico, leading Politico this morning is a story by our friend, Ben White, who you can follow on Twitter at MorningMoneyBen. And if you have any gripes and complaints, send to him, too. He's great on Twitter. He'll fight with you. It's called Hillary Clinton's Money Problem. I'm just going to read the opening paragraph here from Ben White's piece. Quote, Hillary Clinton is having a very hard time being rich. After 2 weeks of verbal gaffes and unflattering headlines, Democratic operatives, political historians, and counselors to the nation's wealthy agree that Clinton's current strategy, acting like she's not incredibly rich and made her money the old-fashioned way, is not working and needs to change fast. And that's the thing. It's not like people are going to go, oh, she's rich, she can never be president, or oh, she's so out of touch because she's rich. What president have we had that wasn't filthy rich? I mean, seriously, like you could make the argument that Bill Clinton, wasn't filthy rich when he came into office, but he was very, very, very well off. You look at, the Bushes. You kidding me? I mean, with politics often comes money. It's just how it is. It's a screwed up system, but that's just how it is. And to downplay it and act like that's not the case, you're not doing yourself any favors. 866-55-PRESS is our phone number, 866-557-7377. Is Hillary Clinton out of touch on the money issue? And how should she be talking about her wealth? Look, the Clintons are very wealthy. They're not dead broke, as she claimed that they were. So how do they talk about it? 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377. My name is Peter Ogburn. I'm sitting in for Bill Press today. We will be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
Grunt work. Love it, hate it, useful, not useful.
Necessary.
Our social entrepreneurs are people who have been on the front lines of social change. I've learned so much from talking with them. This is Cafe Impact, and I'm Jonathan Lewis.
I will say that I think is a challenge for anyone, especially the new workforce as they come in, is the ability to accept grunt work with grace.
The most boring, awful details are the most important elements of doing this work. From the way you save names in your Rolodex to the way you bank and you deposit checks. The truth is, this work isn't glamorous, it's rewarding. You don't go into this for the glamour, you go into it for the impact. And so it takes that determination to do the scut work to actually get anywhere.
It can be really challenging in a first job for someone who's coming out of finishing school to have the enthusiasm that they do to make the type of social impact that they've dreamed of. And now they're here in this first job and all of a sudden they're shouldered with all this grunt work. And they don't understand and they don't get it and they're resentful.
Talk more about the power of answering phones.
Sure, I did that myself, took out the trash, cleaned offices when I had to, and it's all good. There's power in being a good team player and in being somebody who sometimes has to support other people's leadership before you get to have your own moment in the sun.
Is it hard to wait?
It is absolutely hard to wait, especially if you're an alpha female like I am.
I think grunt work can help a new employee build trust internally and teach them the nuances of how an organization is run so that they can have a real good sense of what HR is doing, what finance is doing, what all the other departments are, and that actually makes them a better employee in the long run.
So in my role on a daily basis, I literally can be looking at a new venture in software. We could be looking at a microfinance deal. I could be making coffee, taking out the trash, and riding a tractor on any given day.
Have you found people who thought it was demeaning that they were given this job, work in the front office and make the coffee when they graduated with all A's from this great university?
Yeah, people like that just don't last very long in our world. If your approach to life is that, you're so smart and you're such a fabulous entrepreneur that you can't understand why people aren't giving you opportunities, it's really hard to advance.
Tune in to Gay USA with hosts Ann Northrup and Andy Hum for in-depth coverage of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender news. Watch Gay USA every week, only on Free Speech TV.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show. My name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill Press today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I already see a lot of calls lining up here on the Hillary Clinton "Is she out of touch?" argument. Let's go quickly to John in Ferndale, Washington. John, welcome.
Hey, Peter. I don't think she's out of touch. I think she may have misspoke, but she wasn't trying to represent herself like, oh, her and Bill have to go to the food bank. I mean, I'm poor. I'm a disabled vet, right? I mean, but she, just imagine how embarrassing it would be if her house if one of their houses or whatever had gotten foreclosed on. And I don't know why we do this. Why do we go after our, I'm going to vote for Hillary because I know she gives a damn.
I hear you, John, when you say, why do we go after them? I hear you, but she put herself out there. That's the problem. That's the problem.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww. You should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach
likes
your
you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
I probably would make a time machine. I would make medicine for the sick. I'd probably invent something new.
我会赢到5个总冠军戒指。
If I could have an extra 5 years to live. You said 5, right? 5 years. It's a long time.
I would try to fix everything I did bad.
I would bring my uncle back because I miss him very much.
I would get more hamsters.
I would probably want to go looking for dark matter. I think I'd go looking for aliens. If I could live an extra 5 years...
I was thinking about making like a helicopter, like a wooden helicopter, but I don't have any wood.
I want to go check out the moon sometime. I'd probably teach my sister not to hate tuna. I would try and invent a machine that lets you run at light speed. If I had 5 more extra years to live, I would be the boss of all the chipmunks. Eu cantaria na frente de 1 milhão de pessoas. I don't really know. I think I'd do anything. Why are you asking me that?
And online on Talker TV. This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show, 33 minutes past the hour. My name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill today. I do appreciate you tuning in. Is Hillary Clinton out of touch? That's the question we're asking you at 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377. Andrea Mitchell from NBC said exactly that over the weekend, when she said that Hillary Clinton is out of touch when you look at how she answered questions about her wealth and the, quote, dead broke comment and the mortgages on their houses comments. Yeah, you could easily make the argument that Hillary Clinton might be a little bit out of touch. And it's not that there's anything wrong with her having money. There's nothing wrong with the fact that she's going out and charging a lot of money to give paid speeches. Good for her. That's what we do in this country. When you become great and you've built yourself up into someone that should be admired and become a role model, absolutely. Go and spread those lessons far and wide, and yes, absolutely, get paid for it. Hillary Clinton was First Lady. She was Senator. She was Secretary of State. Very successful author, Yeah, there's some stuff you can learn from that. But, again, when you can't just own up to the fact that you are very rich and there's nothing wrong with that, then, yeah, you might be a little bit out of touch, to repeat what Andrea Mitchell said. Bill Clinton, however, was asked about this in an interview with David Gregory, also from NBC, and this is what he had to say.
She's not out of touch, and she advocated and worked as a senator for things that were good for ordinary people. And before that, all her life, the debate's the wrong debate. You need to be able to show by their policies and their statements about current conditions how candidates of both parties across the spectrum feel about the central challenge of our time, which is the demise of the American dream.
Good answer for the most part. The second half of that answer, I think, was very thoughtful. Look, she can be very rich and also be an advocate for middle class and poor Americans. Now, people say, oh, the media came after Mitt Romney because he was rich. They didn't come after Mitt Romney because he was rich. They came after Mitt Romney because he was shady about it. They came after Mitt Romney because the money that he made from a company built on firing people and downsizing And when you look at someone who's going to be your leader, right, if this is the way he's going to lead, that's not very good. I mentioned a couple of people. I mentioned John Edwards and things like that from wealthy politicians. Phil brings up a couple better ones. FDR, great example of a wealthy politician who fought hard for Americans in need. And the best, JFK. JFK and all the Kennedys, for that matter. I mean, you look at Ted Kennedy, and his lifelong crusade was immigration and helping Americans who had a hard time and had were having a hard time getting a leg up in this country. And they were crazy wealthy. 866-55-PRESS is our phone number, 866-557-7377. I do want to hear from you on whether or not Hillary Clinton is out of touch. And if she's not out of touch, how should she be talking about her wealth? Right? Is she talking about it the right way? How should she get it out there? 866-55-PRESS. Let's go to Helen in Ithaca, New York. Good morning, Helen.
Good morning, Peter, and all the other guys there. Sorry,
all the other full court pressers. They know who they are.
Yeah, I think she's out of touch. But this would be an excellent time for Elizabeth Warren to throw her hat into the ring. I know. I was born in, I'm not from Ithaca, New York. I was born in Chicago. I grew up in Oak Park. I know where Hillary Clinton is from. She had a comfortable middle-class upbringing. It's not like she was raised by millionaires, but she's not working class either. But I don't know if all of your listeners are the 1%. I'm having a feeling that there are a few 99%ers there, and people are getting fed up. And this is a good time for Elizabeth Warren. I swear I'm going to go to Washington and shake her and say, I'll work for you. Would you please run? And also the little clip you played with Bill Clinton talking about the demise of the American dream. We can thank him for that with NAFTA, gas, welfare reform. He did all that stuff,
All right, Helen, I appreciate that. I don't want to get into the whole NAFTA thing. I don't know that single-handedly killed the American dream. And I think that Bill Clinton fought very hard for a lot of downtrodden Americans who needed help. But when you get to the point of Hillary Clinton, right, how she came up, right, middle class, right, that's fine. Tell your story. Tell the story about how you became wealthy. Sure, you worked hard to get that. You can understand the plight of middle-class Americans and Americans struggling. You've been there. But this country has afforded you a wonderful opportunity and wonderful opportunities. And yes, you've become very wealthy. But you've also dedicated your entire life to public service. Look, it's a stock answer, folks. It's a stock answer that politicians who are generally very rich give when they're running for office, right? And the fact that Hillary sort of whiffed on this one right out of the gate, it's not a good sign. Let's go to Jonathan in Chicago, Illinois. And by the way, 866-55-PRESS. That's our phone number, 866-557-7377. Jonathan in Chicago, Illinois. Jonathan, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I just want to comment. I think her words were not the right words. There are people that are dead broke. Like I was saying myself, at one point I had 3 jobs, and my wife being disabled after being hit by a drunk driver, and seeing all these cuts that she has gone through her disability benefits, and not being able to afford things, not even able to go out and have a dinner or lunch. It's just, I think the way she mentioned things being dead broke is not the right way to do it. There are in our house, that's also bad.
I agree with you, Jonathan. That's what I'm saying. And look, is the fact that she said dead broke like the end of the world? Is it the worst possible thing she could have said? No, certainly not. It could have been a worse answer. But the problem now is that they're doubling down. They're not backing off of it, right? They're gonna stick with that. They can't just say, oh, you know what, we maybe shouldn't have said dead broke. But look, we had some money problems, comparatively, and we dug ourselves out of that hole. We're doing all right now. We're charging $250,000 for a paid speech now. Look at Bill Clinton. Look at the money he's put in this Clinton Global Initiative. That's all I'm going to say. Look at the amount of money he's spending and the time and efforts that he's putting into helping poor people, making people better. 866-55-PRESS is our phone number, 866-557-7377. Let's take a couple of comments from Twitter, by the way. Mama for Obama, she's on the warpath this morning. Good for her. We love hearing from her. Mama for Obama 1 on Twitter. She says, being broke is relative. Did Andrea Mitchell, parentheses, Mrs. Alan Greenspan, ever say that Mitt Romney should stop making money? Policy is the issue. Now, that's a good point. Andrea Mitchell, we should point out, is married to Alan Greenspan. She's got no money problems. But the issue isn't that Hillary should stop making money. That's, as you say here. No one says Hillary should stop making money. Well, I take that back. There are a couple of kids who are saying, oh, she shouldn't be charging $250,000 to give speeches, that she should give that money back. I disagree with that. Look, go out and make your money. Go out and make your money. But the issue here that I'm talking about is more of, why not just say, we are very well off. We had a little bit of a rough patch, comparatively, but we are very well off. And you know what? We couldn't do this in any other country except for the great United States of America. Shout out to Goblin Slave on Twitter, who says, thanks for giving this some focus. Those that make excuses for the gaffe are mistaken, and they're thinking that Hillary is not a neocon. I don't think Hillary is a neocon. Goblin Slave on Twitter. Thank you for chiming in. Look, I see a lot of folks calling in here to chime in on this topic. I think we're going to take a quick break. I do want to get to your comments. Dell and David, I see you on the line. We got a line open for you at 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377. Is Hillary Clinton out of touch? Is she talking about her wealth in an effective way, or is she acting again like she doesn't understand? My name is Peter Ogburn. I'm filling in for Bill Press today. Follow the show on Twitter at BP Show. Follow me on Twitter at Peter Ogburn, where we're taking your comments. Quick break. We'll be right back after this.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
I'm the retired bishop with the Episcopal Church as the bishop for all chaplains in federal service. I read that there was a group of people that represented a sense of injustice that I had. We'd lost Zuccotti. I mean, there was a kind of a hope that maybe Trinity Church would be gracious and give refuge. We picked this day where we would gather and demonstrate that Trinity was closing its ears to what was happening. We marched around the block, and I realized that, my goodness, they're carrying a ladder. And I thought, well, this is the moment. You could feel a spiritual presence. You could feel a certain something. And then the cops came in. It got brutal.
I'm with you right here. Robin, I'm here.
The church needed, in this moment in history, to stand alongside of these protesters. The truth of Christ is found in the pews, is found in the institutional church, but it is also found in the streets. It's found in the honesty and the integrity, the insistence of people that you find in Occupy Wall Street.
Tune in to Gay USA with hosts Ann Northrup and Andy Hum for in-depth coverage of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender news. Watch Gay USA every week, only on Free Speech TV.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is The Bill Press Show, live on your radio, on your TV. My name is Peter Ogburn. I'm sitting in for Bill Press today. Thank you for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Beautiful weekend here in Washington, D.C., by the way. I know, Alicia, you were out of town.
Beautiful in Rhode Island as well.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Taking your calls on Hillary Clinton, 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377. Is she out of touch? As Andrea Mitchell said, she said point blank, she's out of touch. Is that the case? Taking your calls on this, 866-55-PRESS. Of course, it all stems from her book tour, where she said they were dead broke when they left the White House, and they had problems paying their mortgages on their houses. She refuses to come off of that. Bill Clinton refuses to come off of that, where they should be saying, I think, they should be saying, yes, we made a lot of money. As soon as we got out of the White House, we both had the opportunity to go make a ton of money giving speeches and things like that. But we still maintain that we are here to help the American people. We spend our entire lives in public service. That's what they should have said. That's not what they said. Taking your calls at 866-55-PRESS. Dell in Freeport, Illinois. Good morning, Dell.
Good morning. It seems to me that she's pandering. Hillary is pandering. Democrats are really tired of suits pretending to be aprons, and FDR was able to pull it off. It just seems so illegitimate. It doesn't seem. It doesn't seem real.
Well, what part doesn't seem real, I guess, is what I'm asking, Dell.
We know she's wealthy,
right?
And for her to come across as if she's grew up, just down the street from the factory, we know that's not true.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's not like it's not like Americans have this bias against rich politicians, right? If that was the case, how the hell did we get all these presidents elected, right? I mean, we've had essentially all wealthy presidents that have been voted into office. So why is it that she just... What's that?
To clarify, it's vulture capitalism that everybody should be railing against, and that was the gripe against Romney. He was a vulture capitalist, not a capitalist.
Yes, that's a very good point. Yes, that is a very good point. Vulture capitalism, and I don't think Hillary is part of that. Clearly, I think Hillary Clinton has devoted her life to a lot of great causes. I think she could say that. We have devoted our lives to a lot of great causes. We're happy with what we've done. We're pleased that we could have this experience. And we hope that every American can have this experience and make this kind of money. David in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Good morning, David. Hey, David in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Are you there? Out of time. We're going to Carol in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Carol, good morning. Are you there?
Yes, I am. And
good morning.
My problem with Hillary is that Hillary is Hillary. She always causes these problems for herself. She's had enough time out of office to take and be trained on how to take and answer these questions. I mean, you cannot tell me that there is not somebody out there that talks to the president about, don't say this, you should be saying this, you should, look them in the eye about this. You can't tell me that they couldn't have had somebody working with her before this book tour to take and get herself to look a little bit more humble.
I hear that, Carol. I hear that, and I that might be pulling the curtain back a little bit. Maybe we should, but what I think is that this should just be an easy answer for her. This isn't one that she should have had to have rehearsed over and over again. I think it should be something that she just knows. This is part of who she is. Sherry in Chicago, Illinois. 866-55-PRESS is our phone number. That's the number that Sherry called. Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning. What she ought to do is admit that she misspoke. How she can clean it up is to just say that we were financially comfortable. Our main concern was Chelsea and her education and her well-being. And she should step back, let the publishers push her book, and get ready for the 2016 election. She knows better. But they're going to clobber her every which way but Sunday,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Sherry. All right, and that is something that she could have said. Is, look, when we were out of the office, we wanted to support our daughter. We worked to make the money. That's a good point. I hadn't brought that up yet. Let's go very quickly to Richard in Bryson, North Carolina. You get the last word on this. Go ahead, Richard. Nope, no Richard. Okay. All right, well, let's take a quick break. I appreciate all the phone calls. A lot of stuff that we needed to get in there, so I appreciate all the thoughtful conversation. Again, my name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill Press today. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
This is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Pressing down, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Thank you.
And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
seen on Free Speech TV and online on Talker TV. This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Peter Ogburn, filling in for Bill Press today. I'm just reading on some, catching up on some news from over the weekend. So Glastonbury in England was this weekend. It's a big outdoor music festival. I'm a sucker for outdoor music festivals. By
Me
the way.
too.
I love it. But what the problem with Glastonbury every year is apparently it just rains. And it gets just like crazy muddy. And like everybody genuinely camps out for this thing. But it's a huge event. So the big closer this year?
Yeah.
Dolly Parton.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. They must have like an eclectic array of music.
It was Metallica. It was the Kooks had a little reunion there. But then Dolly Parton closed out the show. The crowd was 100,000 people.
Wow.
And all the reviews are just saying, like, she completely crushed it. She did such a good job. Richie Sambora from Bon Jovi played guitar for her.
That's really cool.
I might be showing a little bit of my my Dolly Parton fanboy here. I love Dolly Parton.
She is great. Her
love
voice,
Dolly Parton.
and she's so unique.
And she looks fantastic. She's wearing this tight, white, sparkly pantsuit. She's got her big fake boobs all pushed up and
No one
out
can
of it.
wear anything like Dolly Parton.
No, she can wear the hell out of something. And she's got her big fake blonde hair, too. A couple years ago, I went to Dollywood.
Oh, so you're a huge fan.
Yo, I love Dollywood. I love Dollywood so much. They have Dolly's tour bus. You could go on, you could walk through, you could go to the back, you can see her wigs all up on the stand and her guitar.
That's awesome.
They have a mock build-up of her childhood home. It's cool. Anyway, 100,000 people in England.
Wow. In the rain.
In the rain. To see the one and only Dolly Parton. All right. Next hour, a lot of good stuff coming up. Our friend Asawin Suebsang from Mother Jones is coming in to talk some summer movies. And we will be talking about the Supreme Court coming up next. It's the Bill Press Show. Stay tuned.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
I probably would make a time machine. I would make medicine for the sick. I'd probably invent something new.
我会赢到5个总冠军戒指。
If I could have an extra 5 years to live. You said 5, right? 5 years. It's a long time.
I would try to fix everything I did bad.
I would bring my uncle back because I miss him very much.
I would get more hamsters.
I would probably want to go looking for dark matter. I think I'd go looking for aliens. If I could live an extra 5 years...
I was thinking about making like a helicopter, like a wooden helicopter, but I don't have any wood.
I want to go check out the moon sometime. I'd probably teach my sister not to hate tuna. I would try and invent a machine that lets you run at light speed. If I had 5 more extra years to live, I would be the boss of all the chipmunks. Eu cantaria na frente de 1 milhão de pessoas. I don't really know. I think I do anything. Why are you asking me that?
I have run these canyons for 6 million years. I have traveled from the Rocky Mountains to the deserts, through scorching heat and freezing cold, from the land of the dinosaurs to fields of food.
I lend my hand to 7 states, 2 countries, 9 national parks,
and 36 million people across an arid West.
I am not the strongest or the largest, but I am the hardest working.
People love me.
My playfulness,
my beauty,
my power,
my life. But I don't think I can offer any more.
I am tired.
I am tired,
tapped,
and tied. Of the hundreds of major rivers in the world, I am one of the few who no longer kisses the sea.
Battles to harness my soul have been won and lost. Use me wisely, and I will sustain you.
Use me like you have, and I will break. My name
is
Red. The Grand River Red. The American Nile.
The Canyon Maker. I am the Colorado River.
And I am the most endangered river in America.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is The Bill Press Show. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, June 30, It is officially summer, by the way. Officially, as if you didn't know. My name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill Press today. Bill will be back tomorrow, don't worry. Thank you for tuning in, and there are so many ways to tune in. You can listen to the show on your favorite progressive radio station. From Asheville to Chicago, all the great ones in between. You can also stream live video on youtube.com/TalkerTV, TAWKR-TV. That's on YouTube. We're also on Free Speech TV. If you have DirecTV or Dish Network, you can watch us there. Oh, and also, if you're on the go and can't listen to your radio, or you don't have a progressive radio station in your town, you can stream the audio of the program on the TuneIn app. It's just TuneIn that you download onto your smartphone, and then look for the Progressive Voices channel, and you can listen to us there. So check it out. You can follow the show on Twitter at BP Show. You can follow me on Twitter at Peter Ogburn, which many of you are doing and have let me know how wrong I was about my Hillary Clinton topic last hour.
Oh,
that's okay. That's all right. Look, it's a public forum.
Of course,
we can have
public
this conversation.
discourse.
We can have a little back and forth. I'm a big boy. I can take it. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Running the board is Elisa Murphy, back from a little vacation on her own.
Good morning.
And you were out of town. You were in Rhode Island for your sister's wedding.
Yes, it was beautiful. Congratulations to Dr. Melissa Murphy and Stephen Colson.
Okay, all right.
Fireman Stephen Colson.
Oh, come on.
A lot of FDNY proud people. It's the only wedding I think I've been to where the band played the national anthem and everyone was tear-stricken, clutching their breasts.
Okay. So your sister's a surgeon.
Yes.
And your brother-in-law is a firefighter.
Let me tell you, it was the safest wedding you could be at.
I mean, come on.
Seriously.
Like, how much more picture perfect could you make these people? Let me guess. They had like a beautiful little golden retriever who like carried the rings down the aisle to them, and
it was a border collie.
You're kidding.
Yes, named Rudy.
You're not kidding?
Yes, Riley and Rudy came down with the ring. Yes. I think you're right. A golden retriever would have been more optimal.
Sorry.
But
did Norman Rockwell paint your sister's wedding?
No, but I'm sure my dad is going to paint a picture of the scenery.
Yeah. Holy cow.
It was beautiful, I have to say.
I'm sure
it was
beautiful. I'm sure it was beautiful. Good for them. Congratulations.
Yes, very exciting.
Congratulations. And we're glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I hope you had... going out of town for a wedding is hardly a vacation.
Yes.
Especially when it's a family member. But I'm sure it was nice to not have to wake up when you normally wake up.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to keep yourself in bed, actually.
Yeah.
You get used to the regimen.
Yeah,
but on the beach, it was beautiful, so... It was a nice little vacation.
If you call us at 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377, you will talk to Alicia Cruz. So they're screening your calls. Thank you, Alicia. And, of course, running our video operations for the next couple of weeks anyway. Cyprian's got a couple weeks off.
Yeah, he's not going to know what to do with himself.
I know, is Monty Kanzler. He is in the big chair today. So I said this last hour, that I might be turning on my whole anti-soccer thing. And I'm not anti-soccer. I just was never one to sit down and watch soccer. People are mad, though. Oh, I see he deleted a bunch of his tweets. I know who you are. Don't run and hide. Gene. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Gene Starwind. Yeah, he didn't delete the tweets. I was just looking in the wrong place. So he says, Peter, you're an idiot. Go back and review the complete game history of the NFL. A lot more ties than you think. I went back. Since 2000, there have been 4 ties.
See, it's very few and far between. It is true. It's not very common.
If you go way back to like pre-1970, there were more ties, but so what? So there are a lot of things different about the game back then. I'm talking about now. They changed it because it was stupid. That's what I'm saying.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Well, look, the NFL used to have a lot more ties, and they go, oh, wait, this is really dumb. We should not have ties in sports. This is a kid's game. This is professional.
True. Yes.
It's professional. We have a winner. So then Gene goes on. Soccer is more like the NHL in its system of rankings. Oh, good. Yeah, you really want to emulate the NHL. Look at the ratings they got. The NHL might not even be around in another couple of years. And Gene says, your failure is not understanding that the first round is a round robin. It's a mini season. After that, it's all single elimination. I know that. I said that. I understand that. It's like a mini season. Right. I don't think there should be ties in the regular season either. You win or you lose. What are we talking about, a tie? It's like you got a bunch of 8th graders out there running around. A tie.
I think even in the 8th grade, someone win or loses.
That's
it's more of like a younger,
like an 8 years old.
You're breaking into the sport.
Oh, good job, everybody. It's a tie, so you get granola bars and orange slices now.
Yes.
Because you tied. It's stupid. A tie is stupid. And this begs the bigger question of what happens to soccer once America, I'm pulling hard for America versus Belgium, right, tomorrow. But let's just say they get eliminated. All right, knock on wood.
And that will never happen, of course.
What's going to happen? Are we going to keep watching soccer? Are we going to become obsessed with soccer? Are bars going to still be brimming with people at noon on a Thursday? Is that going to happen? No, of course it won't.
I think so. There's a lot of fans of international teams.
Let me tell you something. If you go to a bar at noon on a Wednesday and you can't find a seat and the United States aren't playing, I will buy your drinks.
That is true. Okay, if you're talking weekday,
that's what
that
I'm
is
talking
different.
about.
Yes.
Soccer fever. Now, you go to another country, absolutely. But here in America, we are the best bandwagoners. We're not fans, we're bandwagoners. And that's okay. There are a couple people out here, they love watching soccer. Our friend Clinton Yates.
Yes, huge Dyer fan.
Soccer freak. Good for him. He loves soccer. He played soccer. He's great at soccer. He loves watching it. He knows the game. But all these people that are now soccer experts, get out of here with that.
We all know who the cute ones are anyways.
Exactly. Credit to the people who just own up to it, right? Like we had Lauren French from Politico who was just like, I'm watching because they're hot guys.
Yes, and they might take their shirts off.
And they'll usually take their shirts off. And look, those are some chiseled dudes. There's no shame in that. But get out of here telling me that we're a nation of soccer fans. Once America loses, we're done.
There goes our pride.
You will watch soccer ratings just tank all around the country. I'm telling you. All right, let's move on because today is a big day. Supreme Court will be releasing their take on a couple of big stories. First of all, Hobby Lobby, and also a case which could be a very big deal for the unions. And I just want to spell this case out specifically because this could be a big problem for unions, and I think it's a silly issue for the Supreme Court to get involved with. But the case is Harris versus Quinn, and essentially there is a law in 26 states that require teachers, police officers, firefighters, and other public sector employees, right? Those in the public eye, to pay dues to a union even if they don't want to become union members. And so the argument here is, well, if they don't want to be in the union, they shouldn't have to be in the union. Well, here's the problem. The reason that they have the type of jobs that they have, these teachers, these police officers, the firefighters, the reason that they have the benefits that they have is because of the unions and the strides that they've made before they ever got there. The unions take care of these public sector employees. Like I said, they paved the way for them. They put these benefits, they put these protections in place for these public sector employees. And so now all of a sudden you come along and well, I don't want to pay these dues, even though the reason that you have this job is because of the strides of the unions that came before you. So you kind of try to have it both ways here, right? Like you're saying you don't want the benefits of what the union has already given you, or you want the benefits of what the union has already provided for you. You just don't want to pay for it, which I think is silly, and shame on you if that's your case. if that's what you're arguing. So we'll see where the Supreme Court comes down on that. And then, of course, there's the other big one. It's Hobby Lobby versus Obamacare. Stephanie Simon in Politico. This is front page of Politico today. This is fascinating on who the Hobby Lobby people are. And you know the case here. This is all about their lawsuit against Obamacare. The whole idea here is Obamacare's minimum standards for healthcare coverage, right? So like this idea of the contraception and things like that will be covered. Hobby Lobby, which is owned by a very religious family, they don't like that. Stephanie Simon in Politico. I'm just going to read her opening paragraph here. The evangelical owners of Hobby Lobby made a fortune selling craft supplies and made headlines fighting government-mandated birth control coverage. They're also using their billions to sell American public on the literal truth of the Scripture through a public school Bible curriculum, a huge museum around the corner from the Smithsonian, and public forums on the faith of the founding fathers. In other words, they're religious wackos. They want to teach Bible curriculum in public schools. Now, for people who are so fond of the Supreme Court, I believe we've already had the ruling on that. I think they could just go back and look at their Supreme Court history to find out where that comes down. So get out of here with this crap that we have to start mandating and legislating morality and stuff from the Bible. That's crazy. 866-55-PRESS. Meanwhile, last week, we had a couple of very interesting cases, a lot of them involving technology. And Salon, let me find out who wrote this, Selena McLaren. Such a great piece. Says that the title is The Supreme Court's Baffling Tech Illiteracy is Becoming a Big Problem, and makes the argument that maybe this whole idea of lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court might not be such a great idea. And I want to take your calls on that topic at 866-55-PRESS, because I could not agree more. I think there should be terms. I don't think it should be a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court, and no argument has been better made than this one in Salon when we were talking about technology and the rapid nature of how quickly technology changes. Because I hate to put it like this, the Supreme Court, these old white guys, they don't understand what's going on. They don't understand streaming video. They don't understand illegal downloads. They don't understand a lot of these complex technological issues that, frankly, passed them by while they were on the bench. Should the Supreme Court be a lifetime appointment? 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377. I say absolutely not. What do you want to do? This is, say, a 10-year term, right? 8-year term, maybe. But lifetime? Get out of here with that. I'm going to read from the Salon piece, patent trolls, right? We've read about patent trolls. These are people who buy up patents on products and then force other people who actually created the product to pay them a ton of money. Patent trolls is something that you hear about a lot in court cases. Justice Stephen Breyer, in a recent case, eBay versus Merck Exchange, says, quote, "Is the troll the scary thing under the bridge, or is it the phishing technique?" Because he didn't quite understand what patent troll meant. There was a discussion about GPS capabilities on smartphones when Justice Breyer said, quote, "I don't want to admit it, but my wife might put a little note with directions in my pocket. Is the smartphone supposed to be like my wife?"
Uh-oh.
He doesn't understand GPS, which everybody understands GPS on your phone, and that's come about in, what, the last 4 or 5 years? Mm-hmm. That everybody had a GPS on their phone? He doesn't understand it. Justice Samuel Alito, when he was teasing Antonin Scalia in 2011, said, quote, "I think what Justice Scalia wants to know is what James Madison thought about video games. Did he enjoy them? Now, this was a joke, I hope. But it's one of these things that just says, oh, video games, they don't understand. They don't get it. So should the Supreme Court have a lifetime appointment? I say absolutely not. I think they should be given a term, 8 to 10 years or so. And this Salon piece makes a very good case for it. 866-55-PRESS is our phone number. 866-557-7377. My name is Peter Ogburn. I am sitting in for Bill today. I appreciate all of the help from you. Take your calls right after this.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
Grunt work. Love it, hate it, useful, not useful.
Necessary.
Our social entrepreneurs are people who have been on the front lines of social change. I've learned so much from talking with them. This is Cafe Impact, and I'm Jonathan Lewis.
I will say that I think is a challenge for anyone, especially the new workforce as they come in, is the ability to accept grunt work with grace.
The most boring, awful details are the most important elements of doing this work. From the way you save names in your Rolodex to the way you bank and you deposit checks. The truth is, this work isn't glamorous, it's rewarding. You don't go into this for the glamour, you go into it for the impact. And so it takes that determination to do the scut work to actually get anywhere.
It can be really challenging in a first job for someone who's coming out of finishing school to have the enthusiasm that they do to make the type of social impact that they've dreamed of. And now they're here in this first job and all of a sudden they're shouldered with all this grunt work. And they don't understand and they don't get it and they're resentful.
Talk more about the power of answering phones.
Sure, I did that myself, took out the trash, cleaned offices when I had to, and it's all good. There's power in being a good team player and in being somebody who sometimes has to support other people's leadership before you get to have your own moment in the sun.
Is it hard to wait?
It is absolutely hard to wait, especially if you're an alpha female like I am.
I think grunt work can help a new employee build trust internally and teach them the nuances of how an organization is run so that they can have a real good sense of what HR is doing, what finance is doing, what all the other departments are, and that actually makes them a better employee in the long run.
So in my role on a daily basis, I literally can be looking at a new venture in software. We could be looking at a microfinance deal. I could be making coffee, taking out the trash, and riding a tractor on any given day.
Have you found people who thought it was demeaning that they were given this job, work in the front office and make the coffee when they graduated with all A's from this great university?
And, people like that just don't last very long in our world. If your approach to life is that, you're so smart and you're such a fabulous entrepreneur that you can't understand why people aren't giving you opportunities, it's really hard to advance.
Tune in to Gay USA with hosts Ann Northrup and Andy Hum for in-depth coverage of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender news. Watch Gay USA every week, only on Free Speech TV.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Peter Ogburn. I'm sitting in for Bill today. Just a couple minutes before we go to the break. Up next, we are going to the movies with a friend Asawin Suebsang from Mother Jones. I was going to say a lot of good stuff out there. There's not a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff out there. We're gonna cut through it with Swin when he gets in studio here in just a couple moments. Make sure you're tuning in for that. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court will be dropping some big decisions today. We will be watching. We will be talking about them tomorrow morning. But meanwhile, we're asking the question of lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court and whether or not they make sense, whether or not that's an outdated idea, and whether or not we should get rid of them and just put regular terms on them like you would a politician. I say absolutely. Donald in Oak Brook, Illinois, has called in. Donald, good morning. What do you say?
Good morning, Pete. Well, I say the same thing. You're absolutely right. Term limits for those people. And the truth of the matter is, all you got to do look at is the Supreme Court the way they are now, and it can happen to any of them. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And to give these people positions so they hit the graveside is crazy. We don't have that. So we I'll be the first one that signs petitions. Let's get this thing rolling. I love to see these clowns get exactly what they got coming to them.
Donald, fired up. Rack him. I like it. And it's not so much this idea that they have too much power, although that's a good point. That's a very valid point, I think. Look, we make our politicians answer for the decisions they've made and the votes that they make, right? We make them answer. We make them face an election every 2 to 4 to 6 years. It happens. There's accountability there. Supreme Court, you get on there like, look at Clarence Thomas. Guy hasn't said a word in the Supreme Court. I guess he just asked a question not so long ago. It was the first time he had in years. He just gets on there, and these guys make these bad decisions, and they face no repercussions for them. I say give them term limits. You can chime in on that on Twitter at BP Show. Up next, we're talking movies. Tune in.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
I probably would make a time machine. I would make medicine for the sick. I'd probably invent something new.
我会赢到5个总冠军戒指。
If I could have an extra 5 years to live. You said 5, right? 5 years.
That's a long time.
I would try to fix everything I did bad.
I would bring my uncle back because I miss him very much.
I would get more hamsters.
I would probably want to go looking for dark matter.
I think I'd go looking for aliens.
If I could live an extra 5 years, I was thinking about making like a helicopter, like a wooden helicopter, but I don't have any wood.
I want to go check out the moon sometime.
I'd probably teach my sister not to hate tuna. I would try and invent a machine that lets you run at light speed. If I had 5 more extra years to live, I would be the boss of all the chipmunks. Eu cantaria na frente de 1 milhão de pessoas. I don't really know. I think I'd do anything. Why are you asking me that?
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Good morning. It is The Bill Press Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's 33 minutes past the hour. My name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill Press today. I appreciate you all being there for us. Streaming the show live on youtube.com/TalkerTV, TAWKR TV, or on Free Speech TV, on DirecTV and Dish Network, or on your favorite progressive radio station, or on the TuneIn app on your smartphone, a Progressive Voices channel. So many ways to get the show. We're like the Cocktopus has all the different arms where you could get into the Coke industries, right? We're like the we're like the Billipede, right? We've all the different legs of the Billipede, right? You can find the show.
Do you have as much cash?
Not even close. Not even close. Well, when I found out I was hosting the show, one of the people I wanted to absolutely bring in right off the bat was our friend Asawin Suebsang from Mother Jones, movie and TV guy, reporter for Mother Jones. You can follow him on Twitter at Swin24, at Swin24. A must follow on Twitter, by the way, not only for movie and TV news, but just general good content there. Thank you for coming in, Swin. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so let's start out with the big movie of the weekend. That is Transformers. Mm-hmm. It is the 4th in the Michael Bay series of Transformer movies.
Did you see it?
No. And I'll tell you why. First of all, we should say that just because I didn't see it doesn't mean anything. They made like $100 million this weekend.
All the money. It made
all the money. It made every money.
Yeah.
But I had big plans on seeing it. I've never seen any other Transformer movies. I didn't go see any of them because I'm kind of anti Michael Bay.
Really?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
But I read so many horrible reviews of this movie,
which is to be expected.
Yeah, and then I finally was just like, I really don't want to go. I really don't want to go see it. So let's start first of all with the whole anti-Michael Bay thing, right? Because I didn't want to go see it or any of his movies because they're so predictable and not boring might not be the right word, but I guess predictable and cookie cutter, and you're going to get a lot of big things go boom.
Oh,
right? Like I know I'm going to see that.
And you just described precisely why it made all the money and why all his movies make also all the money. Well, I mean, you're right. It did insane in terms of global box office haul. And part of the reason is not just that Americans love watching things go boom and attractive people in movies watching things go boom or being around when things go boom. It's that obviously the foreign markets love it. Like you always wonder why are these movies so cookie cutter and why is it nothing but explosions and people running around screaming? It's because, for instance, that's the universal language.
Yeah.
Like people in China who are watching this movie, yeah, sure, maybe they see the subtitles, but that's not what they're paying attention to. So nowadays, I mean, Hollywood doesn't just have to play to an American audience that loves these action movies. They're playing basically globally, especially the Chinese market.
And that makes sense. I get that. But I also think that you are able to make a movie where things go boom and also have it have a little bit more than that, right? Like I look at what Marvel has done with some of the movies. Like the Avengers, I think, had a little more depth to it than what some of the Michael Bay movies have done. And there were still plenty of things blowing up in that.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, Michael Bay has stated many times that he makes movies for teenage boys. That's what he likes to do. He's unashamed of it, and more power to him.
So is this movie any worse than any of the other Transformers movies, or is it just sort of par for the course?
Probably worse than the first one.
Really?
Yeah. But you haven't seen any of them, right?
I haven't seen any of them.
If you've seen one, you've basically seen
That's
all.
what I understand. Mm-hmm. It's just the technology in movie making gets a little bit better, I guess. Like
Marginally.
With
the
each
first one came
right?
out in 2009. The special effects then were pretty good.
They made 4 of them in 5 years?
Wait, no, I'm sorry. The first one came out in 2007.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, still, they've made 4 of them in that amount of time in 7 years. That's for a big budget movie like that. That seems to be cranking them out. So that seems to be the big one from the weekend. I just read that the X-Men Days of Future Past is now the biggest movie of 2014. It passed Captain America, another action movie.
Well, good for both those movies in terms of, we were talking about like some intellectual oomph or something a little bit more cerebral to your movie in which flashy and literally explosive things happen.
Right.
Captain America, when I interviewed the directors of that film, the Russo brothers, they told me that the film is explicitly a critique of Obama's kill list. And the X-Men franchise, ever since it was launched by Bryan Singer back in the early aughts, has essentially been like a civil rights allegory.
Yeah.
So as you were saying, of course there's room in big summer blockbusters for these sorts of things. So
I really enjoyed the Captain America movie. I really enjoyed the X-Men movie. Other than that, I was just looking at all the movies I've seen over the summer, right? Because I'm a total sucker for the comic book action movies, right? Godzilla, which we had you on to talk about that when it came out. I didn't care for that at all.
It's the first 20 minutes I thought were very good. The rest of it,
Spoiler alert, by the way. Spoiler alert. It's been out for long enough. Bryan Cranston dies in the first 20 minutes.
Right. And he was so prominent in the first trailer because they were like, Bryan Cranston is so hot right now.
Yeah.
Let's just get people to see the new Godzilla movie. He's the star.
I showed my wife the trailer because she's such a Breaking Bad fan. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let's go. It'll be she never comes. I always take the kids, right? So my wife and I, family night, right? My wife, my 2 kids between us, and me. Bryan Cranston dies 20 minutes in, and she looks over at me and just mouths MFer to me because now she's stuck in this movie for another hour and a half of a movie that was frankly not very good. Mm-hmm. I thought. So what else is yet to come out? I mean, I see Guardians of the Galaxy is yet to come out. That's another
that looks
comic
promising.
book movie. Looks very promising.
It's an upcoming Marvel movie that I think is significantly more, shall we say, sardonic and anti-hero filled than the Marvel movies we've been used to in the past few years. There's well, that's the thing. I think you and I can both agree it's kind of been a lousy summer for movies, and all the stuff we really want to see, or at least most of it, the vast majority of it, is on TV.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And I want to get into that in just a second, but not to jump around too much, but I'm about to tweet out a link to your piece on Michael Bay. Name of the column, Michael Bay, Hollywood's conservative hero.
Absolutely.
So how do we get to there with his politics?
Well, the funny thing about his politics is he doesn't talk about it at all. So when I interviewed him about a year ago, I asked him, so by the way, what are your politics? I haven't really read anything about it. And he said, I am a very political person. I love my country, but I'm not going... He refused to say whether he leaned left or right because he said it doesn't matter if I'm a liberal or conservative. It's not my job to go out to tell people in the country what to believe politically. Fair enough. But he also mentioned in the interview, as most auteurs, such as Michael Bay, do, that they tweak their scripts, they work closely with their screenwriters. And going off of that, you can kind of see a conservative streak in most of his filmography. The exception being The Rock, which, of course, was co-written by Aaron Sorkin, diehard liberal.
I didn't realize that, by the way. Is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, he was brought in to refresh some of the dialogue.
Two great tastes that taste great together. Aaron Sorkin and Michael Bay.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
But I don't know. There are many examples you can cite, but just two big ones to me were in the Michael Bay film Armageddon, blowing up the asteroid to save humanity. These NASA-recruited oil drillers, one of the conditions for going on this dangerous and potentially world-saving mission is that they never have to pay taxes, ever again.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it's one of the best lines in the movie. It's like reading off this list of demands that includes never paying taxes again. One of them wants to spend a summer in the Lincoln bedroom. And in the second Transformers film, Barack Obama is actually named as the president. They don't make up a fictional president. It's Barack Obama.
It's interesting.
And he tries to engage in a policy of diplomacy and appeasement against the Decepticons, and only by brave men in the military who essentially launch a coup, or what amounts to a mutiny. I'm sorry, not a coup. Is the day saved because these very good-looking
How
men
interesting.
Yeah.
Now, see, this is something that I didn't know because I haven't seen any of the Transformers.
The second Transformers movie can double as a critique of the Obama administration's foreign policy.
And that was like that, if I'm not mistaken, that was like the biggest movie of the franchise to date, right? Like that was huge.
Maybe the third one.
How interesting that they called out Obama by name for that. I didn't know that. And they never do that in movies.
He's a Decepticon appeaser. It's a caricature of the caricature that Obama's conservative critics constantly draw of him.
How funny.
That he appeases the enemy, that he's an incredibly weak president.
The Decepticons.
I'm not saying Michael Bay necessarily meant anything
by it.
But it's really funny.
All right, 43 minutes past the hour. I just tweeted out a link to your piece on Michael Bay. I suggest you all go read it. I just tweeted out from our Twitter account at BP Show. Go check that out. Follow him on Twitter at Swin24. Him being Asawin Suebsang from Mother Jones. Stick around for another segment if you can. There's a lot of TV news I want to get into with you. We're going to take a quick break. My name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
I'm the retired bishop with the Episcopal Church as the bishop for all chaplains in federal service. I read that there was a group of people that represented a sense of injustice that I had. We'd lost Zuccotti. I mean, there was a kind of a hope that maybe Trinity Church would be gracious and give refuge. We picked this day where we would gather and demonstrate that Trinity was closing its ears to what was happening. We marched around the block, and I realized that, my goodness, they're carrying a ladder. And I thought, well, this is the moment. You could feel a spiritual presence. You could feel a certain something. And then the cops came in. It got brutal.
I'm with you right here. Robin, I'm here.
The church needed, in this moment in history, to stand alongside of these protesters. The truth of Christ is found in the pews, is found in the institutional church, but it is also found in the streets. It's found in the honesty and the integrity, the insistence of people that you find in Occupy Wall Street.
Tune in to Gay USA with hosts Ann Northrup and Andy Hum for in-depth coverage of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender news. Watch Gay USA every week, only on Free Speech TV.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on Talker TV. This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show, 47 minutes past the hour. My name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill Press, who is back tomorrow. Don't worry. Everybody's mad. Everybody's tweeting and yelling at me. Because I went on like a World Cup thing earlier. Look, all I was saying is I'm glad that we're now in the place where we're playing until somebody wins. The whole tying is BS. I hate that. I hate it. But you can send your hate tweets to me at Peter Ogburn, which many of you have already done.
They're burning you in effigy somewhere.
Yeah, so it's happening. It's totally happening. With me for the rest of this hour is Asawin Suebsang from Mother Jones. Please go follow him on Twitter at Swin24, talking movies and TV. Let's pick up with TV because last night was the premiere of a show I've been very interested in seeing. I saw the previews when I was watching my Game of Thrones and things like that. The Leftovers is the name of the show. The Leftovers. Damon Lindelof is one of the creators of the show, a guy from Lost, which everyone loves or loved. But it's a plot twisty, very involved show was the way that Lost works. And it looks like this might be a little bit of the same.
Yeah. And the at least the first couple of episodes are directed by Peter Berg, who latest movie was Lone Survivor. Of course, Friday Night Lights. He's famous for that.
Yeah.
Very good director. And I've only seen the first couple of episodes in the screener that HBO sent me, and it's promising so far. And just for people who don't know, the premise of the show is that a few years ago, like 2% of the entire world's population suddenly disappeared. Nobody knows why or how. Just suddenly you turn around and your baby is gone, or your father has essentially evaporated, or something, or just poof. And it takes place in sort of a small town, like a hamlet in America, where these people 3 years after are grappling to deal with what is called globally, I think, the Great Departure or the Sudden Departure.
Okay.
And nobody knows yet what it was. Like, of course, there are a bunch of people who think it was the Rapture. Like, people don't know if it was aliens or sea monsters or a weird government or UN program. So obviously, like, a lot of paranoia arises around this, a lot of confusion, a lot of fear, and of course, cultism.
I'm curious to see it. One of the things that struck me is that Peter Berg directed some of these, who is a very successful Hollywood movie director.
Everybody's going to TV, man.
Well, that's the thing. We were talking during the break about, you mentioned True Detective, right? You've got two big Hollywood actors doing TV. You've got this Hollywood director doing TV. It seems like there are a lot of opportunities in TV now. It's not a step down for movies the way that people used to perceive it.
No, absolutely not. It's a trend we can certainly credit to The Sopranos because before then you had movies and then you had TV. You were a television actor or you were, a movie star. Now it seems like every big Hollywood actor wouldn't mind going on cable TV. Like, who doesn't want to be in an HBO movie that's going to win all the Emmys?
Yeah, exactly.
And who doesn't want to be in the next season of True Detective?
Yeah. You've got HBO out there. You have shows like Louie. You know, which because I'm trying to think of non-HBO shows,
right?
Because like HBO clearly has that market locked up, but it's not.
You had Breaking Bad.
You had Breaking Bad. Yeah, excellent point. You know, and these comedies that aren't, you know, boxed laughter and yucks. You know, that are like deeply complex comedies and dark shows like True Detective and Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
How did we? I mean, The Sopranos was really the kicking off point, but how successful can it be? You know, I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is, what's the ceiling for a good TV show? What are you losing out on?
I don't think you're losing that much. I mean, I hate to keep going back to HBO, but they're kind of eating.
It's all right.
Everybody's lunch right now. I mean, look at Matthew McConaughey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he did a whole season of True Detective. Obviously, not coming back for the second one because, you know, he has stuff to do.
Yeah.
But that year, he was in The Wolf of Wall Street and Dallas Buyers Club, won the Oscar. Like, you just work in a schedule like any other movie. It doesn't hold you back.
Yeah. What about Tyrant, the other show that you were...
oh, right, the FX show.
Yeah.
This is it premiered last Tuesday, I believe. It's the new Arab Spring-inspired show developed by Howard Gordon, who is famous for, among other things, Homeland and 24.
Okay.
And basically, a really simple or simplistic way, I should say simplistic, way of describing the TV show is The Godfather, but transposed to an Arab dictatorship.
I'm in.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I would totally want. That sounds so great.
Isn't that a great premise?
Yeah, I love that.
Basically, one of the sons of this dictator of a fictional Middle Eastern country has been in self-exile in, I believe it's Los Angeles for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's called back for his nephew's wedding, and the show, even though it's a fictional country, takes place in a certain flavor of reality. Like, they talk about Gaddafi is gone, Saddam is gone, but this dictator, this strongman, is still holding on. So basically, it feels as if they're calling him back to run the family business, and the family business just happens to be this like horrific, torturing despotism. And you can tell he's very uneasy with it. He's practically disowned the family. So just think of it of The Sopranos and The Godfather, but the Assad family.
Yeah.
So that's the show.
I'm in.
I liked it a lot. It's gotten pre-mixed reviews, but I liked the first 2 episodes very much.
And it's on FX?
Yes.
All right. We'll have to check it out. All right. Asawin Suebsang from Mother Jones, thank you so much for coming to the studio, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
A lot of good stuff there. 53 minutes past the hour, right up against the breaks. We take a quick break. We'll be right back with the President's Schedule. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill Press.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
I probably would make a time machine. I would make medicine for the sick. I'd probably invent something new.
我会赢到5个总冠军戒指。
If I could have an extra 5 years to live. You said 5, right? 5 years. It's a long time.
I would try to fix everything I did bad.
I would bring my uncle back because I miss him very much.
I would get more hamsters.
I would probably want to go looking for dark matter. I think I'd go looking for aliens. If I could live an extra 5 years.
I was thinking about making like a helicopter, like a wooden helicopter, but I don't have any wood.
I want to go check out the moon sometime.
I'd probably teach my sister not to hate tuna. I would try and invent a machine that lets you run at light speed. If I had 5 more extra years to live, I would be the boss of all the chipmunks. Eu cantaria na frente de 1 milhão de pessoas. I don't really know. I think I'd do anything. Why are you asking me that?
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show, live on your TV and your radio. This time every day we take a look at the president's schedule. What is he up to today? Well, we are talking about the presidential daily briefing at 10 a.m. Eastern Time today, so we'll have that. He'll also be attending a bilateral meeting with President Michelle Bachelet of Chile, which Biden will also be attending. A little bit later on today, the president has a reception to observe LGBT Pride Month there at the White House, so very cool about that. And then at 4:30, it just says here, the president will make a personnel announcement. I wonder what that could be. Well, we kind of know what that's going to be. We found out that the president will be making an appointment to run someone in charge of the Department of Veterans Affairs. His name is Robert McDonald. He is ex-head of Procter & Gamble, who's going to be taking charge of that. Yeah, Bob McDonald, not Bob McDonnell from Virginia, the disgraced former governor. So, busy day for the president. Of course, we will talk all about it tomorrow when Bill is back in the big chair. Lot more of the show coming up. Neda Semnani, our friend, is going to be joining us in studio coming up next. So stay tuned.
This is the Bill Press Show.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
I'm the retired bishop with the Episcopal Church as the bishop for all chaplains in federal service. I read that there was a group of people that represented a sense of injustice that I had. We'd lost Zuccotti. I mean, there was a kind of a hope that maybe Trinity Church would be gracious and give refuge. We picked this day where we would gather and demonstrate that Trinity was closing its ears to what was happening. We marched around the block, and I realized that, my goodness, they're carrying a ladder. And I thought, well, this is the moment. You could feel a spiritual presence. You could feel a certain something. And then the cops came in. It got brutal.
Yeah, I'm with you right here. Robin, I'm here.
The church needed, in this moment in history, to stand alongside of these protesters. Truth of Christ is found in the pews, is found in the institutional church, but it is also found in the streets. It's found in the honesty and the integrity, the insistence of people that you find in Occupy Wall Street.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Tune in to Gay USA with hosts Ann Northrup and Andy Hum for in-depth coverage of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender news. Watch Gay USA every week, only on Free Speech TV.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is The Bill Press Show. Good morning. Happy Monday, June 30th. Welcome to summer. My name is Peter Ogburn. I am filling in for Bill today. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at BP Show. Follow us there. We're sending out links so you can watch the show on youtube.com/TalkerTV, TAWKRTV. Of course, I couldn't do the show by myself. I, not unlike a donut, surround an empty, vacuous space with wonderful content, which is why I have Neda Semnani in studio for the rest of the hour. The whole hour you're going to be with us?
We're just going to hang out.
How exciting is this?
I know, it's so much fun.
Neda,
this is the best way to start my morning.
Right? And you were going to be up anyway.
I was going to be up anyway.
Going to have some mediocre coffee anyway, so why not have it here?
Exactly. Facts. All of these are facts.
DC reporter, Lady About Town.
I'm a lady about town.
A Lady About Town. You could read her wonderful work in Hypervocal and all sorts of wonderful publications.
And all sorts of other places.
Most importantly, follow her on Twitter. It's at Neda_Semnani, NEDA_SEMNANI. I say most importantly because people will be able to find your stuff.
Well, no, I mean, and it's very good for me because it feels, it validates
brands,
me.
Baby. You got to build that brand, baby. Build that brand, girl.
They like me. They really
Go ahead.
like me.
Running the board is Elisa Murphy, back from her own little vacation.
Yeah.
Hi, Elisa.
Hey, Peter.
Where have you been?
I was in Rhode Island, Block Island to be exact.
Okay.
And I've been getting some hate as well.
Well, you've been getting hate?
Yeah.
For a while.
I just want to clarify that it was my sister's wedding at the mansion. Not so much me.
Why was everybody hating?
Well, we're an immigrant family, but my sister, now being a surgeon, had the mansion wedding, and so I've been getting some grief that I think Hillary Clinton also is feeling. But
By the way, immigrant family when you came from Canada.
It was an immigrant situation. The first table I remember eating off of, my dad built out of like a door. They took off the house that they were like renovating, so
hipster.
I understand what it's like.
You could buy a table door at West Elm now.
Exactly. He was ahead of a time, I'm telling you.
So we were talking, she was at her sister's wedding. Her sister is a surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband is a firefighter. And I made the joke, I said, did they have the golden retriever bring the rings down? They did.
No.
It was a border collie.
Yes.
I was off.
I want to train my dog to do stuff like that. That's awesome.
I want to train my dog to do something other than fart. If you call our phone number, you will talk to Alicia Cruz. Our phone number is 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377. And there's so much to talk about. Just you wait. And then if you're watching the show, just you wait. That's a threat.
That is.
If you're watching the show on Talker TV, you are doing so because of the excellent work of Monty Kanzler, our videographer. So peel the curtain back just a little bit on what's happening behind the show. Neda and I were emailing this morning about some stuff we might be talking about. Later on in the show, we're going to be talking about the latest with the President Obama being sued by John Boehner. And then I said to Neda, we might talk a little Facebook. We'll probably talk some Spaceballs and maybe some Hillary stuff. And Neda said, okay, just keep in mind I wrote about manatee sex, Japanese robots last week too. All my faves right here in one room.
This was all just to say that my expertise would have had to have been, shorten up a little bit on real news.
We're all over the place. How was your weekend, Neda?
It was great. Well, as I said, I vaguely remember it being great.
Mm-hmm.
It was very relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Lots on Saturday stressed me out.
Okay. I've been having the soccer conversation all morning about how we are
one nation, one team.
Well, here's my take. I think we're really great at jumping on the bandwagon.
No, it's a time zone thing. Did you already talk about this?
Tell me. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't want to be rehashing.
Well, we haven't talked about we haven't talked about it today.
So one of the I come out. I'm like one of those. I'm like a cicada. Every 4 years, I'm really into soccer.
Okay.
And then if I was living in the UK, I suppose I would watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided the time zone works for the U.S. right now because it's vaguely within a time where people can just skip work in the summertime.
That's an excellent point.
Excellent. It's for a good cause because it's for America. So you're skipping or other countries that you are betting on.
No. I think, here's what I said. I think that because when we went out to go watch the game at noon on a Thursday last week, the bars were packed.
Yeah,
I couldn't get a seat at any of the bars around here, right?
Unless you're a freelancer and you go early with your computer and you sit there and you work.
Did you go early and do it? That's a good idea, actually. I might do that next time.
Well, did I? No, I filed before I went. But.
Well, here's the thing, though. Once America loses... if America loses, because I don't want to get more grief over that.
Tim Howard,
I think
American hero.
How about him?
A real American.
He's
hero.
a freak of nature. That guy.
I know.
He's so good. But let's say we lose, right? You're not going to see bars that crowded at noon on a Thursday.
I don't know. Well,
I do.
No, that's not true. That's not. Well, maybe in other places, but in DC for sure.
You think?
Yeah, because do you remember in 2006? Did the France game? No. Anyway.
It's a long time ago, Neda.
I know. I'm so sorry.
But what about it in 2006?
Well, I remember watching the final, and the nice thing about watching it in a super international city is, we have the World Bank here, which is one of the biggest employers in the city. There's still like this excitement, and there are certain bars that will be completely packed. Not every bar, maybe, but I mean, the World Cup is a different game now. I think we've also hit kind of critical mass of people who grew up playing soccer.
That's a good point.
So
That's a very
unlike
good point.
Wimbledon, which is also on, I think.
Yeah.
I vaguely saw something about tennis.
Is that cricket or
I don't know
what that is.
Hillary Clinton's probably watching that.
Oh no.
I'm just teasing. But I'm saying, unlike that, which even though I took like 2 tennis lessons as a kid, I still have. What is happening?
Yeah.
Soccer, I get because I played for years.
Yeah.
And I still read every once in a while the 7 millionth article explaining what offsides is, although really people.
I don't. Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, until they tell me, I don't know.
There is no definition. There is no definition for offsides. It's just an idea, is what it is. It's like the wind.
It's a philosophy.
Yeah.
It is.
No one understands.
No
what
one
offside
understands,
is.
except for that one person.
Yeah, with
it's
the
like
flag.
the kilogram, the real kilogram that's being held somewhere.
Yes. Did you see the penalty in the Netherlands Mexico game?
No, I don't.
Everybody's talking about this penalty. This guy flopped, and so he got a penalty. They got a penalty kick, and then the Netherlands beat Mexico yesterday. Now I was rooting for the Netherlands.
Why? Because
I mean, I named my child Magnet. I got Mad European.
Mad European, Northern European to be specific.
Like Mad Northern European. So I was pulling hard for the Netherlands.
Okay, cool.
But everybody's
cool.
mad because the dude flopped, and
Aww.
he got fouled though. He got fouled. By the way, Elisa was telling me she used to be so good at soccer. Her right leg was so big it wouldn't fit into a boot.
Actually, it's my left leg. I'm a lefty.
She's a lefty.
And I was a striker, and literally I go into Nordstrom trying to buy boots or wherever, and only one will. I have to try my left foot first. And if it goes in, then I know I can try them on and buy them. If not, it's depressing. I'm not kidding you.
Wait, is it still?
Yeah.
No.
I have a freakishly large left calf. Like, it's my best defense. If someone were to attack me, I'd have to use my calf.
You hear Elisa walking down the hallway like...
It's not a pirate, but it's something.
But it makes me feel, if I was staying at your house, I'd feel safer in case there was, seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
If there was somebody breaking in.
I could kill you with my calf.
She'll kick them.
Exactly.
Done.
That is what...
That's where, as soon as my head, I was like,
Stay back, I'm going to kick you. Hang on, I got to switch legs. My other one is my good leg.
Exactly.
Did you see the penalty?
Yes.
Everybody's talking about it? So what's your take?
I totally, it's just sad, really.
But was he fouled? Don't take the diplomatic stance.
No, I don't think he was. I don't think it was.
Of course he was fouled. He was fouled, but he did flop. He sold it too much.
Yes.
All right.
But I mean, that's the whole argument. that it's becoming very operatic, the sport.
Well, this is
and remember, everybody was mad at America that they weren't as operatic.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
That's true.
We can't manufacture emotions about the Netherlands.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Right. The first time that was actually used correctly.
Yeah, that's true.
Ding.
That's true.
Where's my gong?
He had to flop.
Gong
he had
it.
to flop. He absolutely had to flop. We'll see what the Americans do, but I'm a little torn because it's Belgium, and again.
What are you going to do?
Oh my, what?
Mad
You don't even
European.
speak French, do you?
Oh no, of course not. No,
No,
not
but
even
you just
one word.
really love a fry.
I love fries.
Peter was
frites.
I'm sorry. Me in Belgium,
Yeah.
call them frites.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Peter first was actually rooting for Ghana on the first game, but he had very, very good reason to.
Yeah. No, I was hoping that Ghana beat the United States because, like, what I said is, like, Ghana had to shut down, like, an iron smelting factory just so that the people had the power to watch TV, to watch the
wanted
game.
it, yeah.
Meanwhile, we're just sitting here eating our heavily salted snacks, taking off
Frites.
work, frites, in the middle of the day to watch a game.
Actually, let me just bring this full circle. I was sitting in a Belgian bar tweeting at you about this, or
Is that
having
right?
that Twitter exchange, yes.
Which were you eating
Me
frites?
too. I was.
What are you going to
yeah.
do? Or what are you going to do on Tuesday? You going to America? You going to Belgium?
Well, I think in this one, Ghana, I was a little bit
I'm
all
going.
over all
I'm,
those.
I'm going to America. From
Yeah,
here
well,
on out,
of
I'm
course.
American. I'm
Well,
totally American.
No, I am American. No, it's always going to be the USA. USA.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And with my fist up in the air.
Full
pounding.
stop.
Full stop.
Full stop.
However. However, the problem with me and when it comes to the knockout rounds is I want they've all worked so hard and it's another 4 years and it's like an entire country is going to be disappointed. So I kind of want like the millennials have, like the statue for good effort.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to get a medal.
No.
No.
I'm so not that.
You are the opposite.
I'm like, no, I think that, like, once you lose, there should be a plane waiting right outside the stadium and send you back home. Like, get out. Get out.
A reality television show.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, you just got World Cupped. And then you have to go. I'm sorry, but you've been World Cupped. And then send them home. Send them home.
I love that.
Yeah, like they have to pack their bags and bring to the stadium. And if you lose, you don't even get to go shower off.
You just have to go.
Get out.
And go and find a corner and sit in it.
Sit there. You can't watch any more games.
You could have no more fun. 4 years.
Wouldn't that be so much more hardcore?
I'm like, yeah, well, that's too much. Like, what would I do watching that? I would go through. I would sweat. I would cry when people lost.
There were 2 shootouts over the weekend. There was the Brazil Chile.
Oh my God, I was sweating.
Heartstopper.
Yes. Well, talk about one that was torn. I was watching with a friend of mine who had bet a significant amount of money in some sort of betting scheme that he looks at me and he goes, "It's too complicated.
Yeah.
It's essentially complex derivatives." So I was like, what?
It's betting on soccer, especially. There's
No.
so many variables.
Too much. I don't know. I'd just win or lose. Well, but then there's ties and whatever.
There's ties and shootouts.
It's too much.
and
It was
I can't.
very complicated.
So that's why I'm glad they're in the knockout round. You lose,
Right.
you go home.
Well, and then there's like all that stress though if you have a draw.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
you're okay with
Yeah,
that.
I'm okay with that.
I'm gonna lose like 10 years of my life before this tournament's over.
I mean, this is the beautiful thing. I mentioned this
About
earlier.
the beautiful game.
The beautiful game,
Mhm.
which as we all know is shuffleboard. No. I timed that so bad, I'm sorry. The beautiful I forgot what I was going to say. The beautiful thing about watching soccer is don't watch it at home. Go out. Go out and go to a bar or somewhere. Or like out in one of these viewing areas,
Mhm.
right? They have these screens set up outside in your hometown. A lot of them do.
Yeah.
Because like there are no commercial breaks.
Yeah.
They don't take breaks. They take water breaks.
They took a water break.
No, they will take a water break
yeah.
because it's so hot. It's like
Yeah.
97 degrees out there.
Yeah.
And so they take a water break. So like sometimes they'll show a commercial, but like for the most part, it's just 45 minutes of uninterrupted play.
Here's
each
the other
half.
thing though. The people in my life that take soccer super seriously, like my brother is fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
I think he watches it at home because he can't handle people just like having a good time because there's a game to watch.
Yeah.
But I think here's another beautiful part about where the U.S. is when it comes to soccer fandom. We will go out and be a part of a community, and in like a pretty insular world where we're all in front of our computers, that I think is a big thing. But we're not taking it so seriously that, I mean, it's a communal event. You can talk to other people. You can see your coworkers. You can mingle with parts of your community that you've never seen before. And so I think that communal aspect is, the point is, take it seriously, but not so seriously you watch the game.
That you punch somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
You punch somebody.
No hooliganism. We're not Northern Europe, for
that's
crying
right.
out loud.
That's right. Where it's life or death.
Right, we're Americans.
That's right.
Classy.
I love how everybody, for the most part, just kind of shuts up and just watches the game, right? And everybody just sort of moves together, ups and down, highs and lows. Even in Washington, D.C., where you've got like 7 TV screens, and then you've got one on MSNBC over in the corner because it's Washington, D.C.
Nerds.
That's the saddest thing ever. And there's one guy watching
And there's one guy trying to watch both.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. 22 minutes past the hour. We are going to take a quick break. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Neda Semnani is in studio with us. Follow her on Twitter at Neda_Semnani. My name is Peter Ogburn. I'm on Twitter at Peter Ogburn, but I wouldn't follow me. Quick break. We'll be right back after this.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
Grunt work. Love it, hate it, useful, not useful.
Necessary.
Our social entrepreneurs are people who have been on the front lines of social change. I've learned so much from talking with them. This is Cafe Impact, and I'm Jonathan Lewis.
I will say that I think is a challenge for anyone, especially the new workforce as they come in, is the ability to accept grunt work with grace.
The most boring, awful details are the most important elements of doing this work. From the way you save names in your Rolodex to the way you bank and you deposit checks. The truth is, this work isn't glamorous, it's rewarding. You don't go into this for the glamour, you go into it for the impact. And so it takes that determination to do the scut work to actually get anywhere.
It can be really challenging in a first job for someone who's coming out of finishing school to have the enthusiasm that they do to make the type of social impact that they've dreamed of. And now they're here in this first job, and all of a sudden they're shouldered with all this grunt work. And they don't understand, and they don't get it, and they're resentful.
Talk more about the power of answering phones.
Sure, I did that myself, took out the trash, cleaned offices when I had to, and it's all good. There's power in being a good team player and in being somebody who sometimes has to support other people's leadership before you get to have your own moment in the sun.
Is it hard to wait?
It is absolutely hard to wait, especially if you're an alpha female like I am.
I think grunt work can help a new employee build trust internally and teach them the nuances of how an organization is run so that they can have a real good sense of what HR is doing, what finance is doing, what all the other departments are, and that actually makes them a better employee in the long run.
So in my role on a daily basis, I literally can be looking at a new venture in software. We could be looking at a microfinance deal. I could be making coffee, taking out the trash, and riding a tractor on any given day.
Have you found people who thought it was demeaning that they were given this job, work in the front office and make the coffee when they graduated with all A's from this great university. And,
yeah, people like that just don't last very long in our world. If your approach to life is that, you're so smart and you're such a fabulous entrepreneur that you can't understand why people aren't giving you opportunities, it's really hard to advance.
Tune in to Gay USA with hosts Ann Northrup and Andy Hum for in-depth coverage of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender news. Watch Gay USA every week, only on Free Speech TV.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show. My name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill Press, along with Neda Semnani, who is in studio with us for the hour. Good morning, Neda.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
You and I are Facebook friends.
We are.
I'm kind of anti...
We're also real world friends.
Totes.
Right.
However,
okay.
If you were on Facebook in January of 2012...
I was, yeah.
There was a week in that time that Facebook teamed up with Cornell University and the University of California, San Francisco to alter the algorithm of your news feed.
Of my brain?
Yes, to show you different stories and to weed out positive stories. They were trying to show like more negative stories to see if it affected what you posted.
That's mean.
Right?
I think that's mean. I feel manipulated.
Like getting in your head.
So... But is that true? Because I feel like the amount of Upworthy stuff that is on my Facebook feed is just too much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's too much. It's too much. You'll never believe this great thing that happened.
It's the worst.
I'm like,
you know how many people, I had like a total purge and I was just... like
really? You
Tommy gun just blowing people out of the water. Like you can't be friends with me anymore.
You can't be friends with me. You were too much Upworthy.
Not hiding people. Like I wanted to make a statement. We are not friends anymore.
So what did you do if you see them on the street in real life? Do you pass out? You've been defriended already.
I defriended a friend of my wife's who...
Did you ask your wife first?
I'm a man. Of course not. No, I
didn't realize I was stuck in a booth with a man.
But we had. She was like, "Oh yeah, you defriended me on Facebook," and I put my chin up and I said, "Yes, I did. Yes, I did."
What? That is the most awkward. Oh, I can't wait for the day.
I'm sorry. Do we know each other?
I
like,
know.
Of course.
They're always
is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look! Your crush is looking at you.
Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach
likes
your
you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma.
Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is The Bill Press Show. Good morning, 33 minutes past the hour. My name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill Press today, along with Neda Semnani, reporter from Washington, D.C., for a number of wonderful outlets. Thank you for coming in, Neda.
Thank you for having me, Peter.
You can follow her on Twitter at Neda __ Semnani. Don't forget the underscore.
Don't. You'll get another Neda Nani.
Another Neda Nani. I haven't done the Neda Nani. I like that. Totally taking that.
There you go. Take it.
Yeah. I'm taking that. You can follow us on Twitter at BP Show. You can follow our next guest on Twitter at DH Berman. That is Dan Berman from Politico. Dan, good morning. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
He is White House editor for Politico. Politico.com is where you can read some of Dan's work. So let's start out talking about the big lawsuit. John Boehner is suing the president. Yes. Explain to us what the tipping point was for John Boehner to actually pursue a lawsuit with the president of the United States.
It's unclear exactly what the tipping point was. The president's been doing this all year long, and he's been clear that he's doing this all year long. These executive actions, these executive orders, the president's done it. I think the last one, this may have been, the one thing, that did it was, the executive order on federal contractors can't discriminate against LGBT workers. We've had other ones where federal contractors have to raise their minimum wages. He's done, executive actions, regular regulations on things, like carbon dioxide emissions from power plants, for instance. But look, this is something that's been simmering all year long. The House, Republicans and Senate can't get along on anything. And Obama says, look, these are, the limited things that I can do within the framework of the executive branch. Now, if you think that everything Barack Obama does is horrible, you're going to think this is horrible as well. And it's just we're at that point where it's going to take the courts to decide how much executive power the executive has to do what the executive branch is supposed to do. It's really kind of interesting that both sides are almost willing to put their faith in what the courts will say about this.
And so, of course, in the middle of all of this, you had the Supreme Court come down and say that the president may have actually reached a little too far with some of his recess appointments, which I guess just sort of feeds into the argument of John Boehner a little bit more, right?
A little bit. And the court was very clear that it, at least the 5-4 majority, that's at the narrow part, is that this is really an issue that came down to two things. One, the Supreme Court unanimously said, all right, these 3 recess appointments with the National Labor Relations Board, done within these 3-day recesses that the Senate was having, as a way to kind of block any recess appointments. They said, all right, that's out of here. But the other, the by 5-4 margin, the justices said, hey, the president still has the right to make these appointments. It's just a matter of, what the actual recess looks like. So, it was still, curbing it a bit, but, they kind of upheld the principle of the president being able to do these recess appointments as a practical matter. So, yeah, that definitely feeds into Boehner. And, you had, 40 or so Senate Republicans who had signed on, filed a friend of the court brief on this lawsuit. They were thrilled. As a practical matter, though, Democrats just said, the heck with it, we'll do the nuclear option, and they've gotten all these Obama nominees through. Anyway, but this is now, the fight that we're seeing. You really want to look at everything macro. This is what happens when you get congressmen and senators who are punished in primaries for, daring to talk with the White House, daring to negotiate on legislation, and they get kicked out of office, and you start losing the incentive. Well, if I'm going to lose my seat, look what happened to Eric Cantor for daring to talk with people on immigration and not taking the hard stance. That was one of the reasons behind him losing, and so we start to see this over and over. And now it gets to the point where House Republicans are just like, well, we're not going to negotiate, we're not going to work on a legislation of consequence. Why not try this lawsuit? If there's any way Congress can curb Obama's power, realistically, this will affect the next president more than Obama. By the time any of this gets through the system, assuming it actually goes anywhere to begin with, then, for Congress, it's absolutely worth it.
Dan, what's the chances? What's the chances that this is going to play out practically, as in it's going to go through the entire legal system, or as opposed to this is exactly what Boehner wanted? Boehner wanted us to be, for an entire news cycle to be simply about this lawsuit without any real legs. And I can't quite gauge, I'm sure he'd be happy if it went through, but is that even a real possibility?
They're not going to settle out of court, I don't think.
I don't think so, but that would be adorable if they sat down with the mediator.
That'd be great.
Could you imagine? You imagine the ads on that one?
Oh my God!
Such as Congressman Smith, stop John Boehner from his historic lawsuit. Look, the practical, John Boehner says this isn't a stunt, and, we're spending all our time talking about this. Again, regardless of the actual merits of the lawsuit, he wants people, as you got to, but talking about the issue, talking about, how bad Barack Obama is in terms of stepping over his legal authority. First they have to actually say what exactly they're challenging. They haven't shown any drafts of this lawsuit. They haven't filed anything. They haven't said where it would be. There are just so many questions we get to this point. The Republicans are almost, pot committed at this point. They have to come up with something because they don't want to admit that it's a stunt. At the same time, they need to work out exactly what they would be challenging, on what basis, on you can't just say, oh, we think Barack Obama's going too far. You've got to have some actual complaints. I have no idea how they, how they prove that, Congress is injured in this. Do they get, some random person to challenge it, like you see with
mental distress? I think is the only thing.
Or with like Hobby Lobby or Supreme Court cases, or that kind of thing. So it's just, this isn't something that's going to happen quickly, and like I said, it's really something that can affect the next president far more than Obama. And you have a real irony. Let's say the Republicans, went, they won all the way to Supreme Court, and then, President Ted Cruz or Chris Christie has to deal with these new restrictions.
Right.
So, and all of a sudden you'll hear about how great, the executive power is. And look, both sides do this kind of thing, which is why, again, going back to the concept of this lawsuit, it's great politics. It probably doesn't make great law.
All right, good stuff from Dan Berman, White House editor for Politico. Dan, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. All right. Follow more from Politico at Politico.com. Again, my name is Peter Ogburn, sitting in for Bill Press today, along with Neda Semnani. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with lots more stuff, including Spaceballs.
Yeah!
I'm so excited to talk about this. We'll be right back with more on The Bill Press Show.
This is The Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look! Your crush is looking at you.
Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach
likes
your
you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
I probably would make a time machine. I would make medicine for the sick. I'd probably invent something new. If I could have an extra 5 years to live. You said 5, right? 5 years. It's a long time.
I would try to fix everything I did bad.
I would bring my uncle back because I miss him very much.
I would get more hamsters.
I would probably want to go looking for dark matter. I think I'd go looking for aliens. If I could live an extra 5 years...
I was thinking about making like a helicopter, like a wooden helicopter, but I don't have any wood.
I want to go check out the moon sometime.
I'd probably teach my sister not to hate tuna. I would try and invent a machine that lets you run at light speed. If I had 5 more extra years to live, I would be the boss of all the chipmunks. Eu cantaria na frente de 1 milhão de pessoas. I don't really know. I think I do anything. Why are you asking me that?
Filling in for Bill today. Bill will be back tomorrow. Thank you for all of your constructive criticism this morning. Take it all to heart, and I'll do better next time. I promise. Neda Semnani is in the studio with me for the whole hour. The whole hour?
Whole hour.
How much fun is this?
I'm having a blast.
You're so much fun to be around, and you have a lot of good things to say about so many different things. So you would be perfect to hang out for the hour. Neda Semnani. Follow her on Twitter at Neda_Semnani. I promised that when we come back, we were going to talk about Spaceballs. PSA, it's on Netflix streaming, by the way, which I found out a couple weeks ago, and we've watched like 18 times. It's so good.
It's so good, and it holds up in unlike some of the other movies from
parody.
Yeah, which kind of fall flat. Like, I will always love Blazing Saddles, but it doesn't quite hold up, or like silent movies and silent movies.
I disagree about Blazing Saddles, but I agree with the sentiment that there's.
But you know what I mean? Like
yes.
It's not. I don't know.
By the way, I was looking for
as we're going through our Mel Brooks repertoire.
I was looking. I threw a quick Goog on Neda Spaceballs because I wanted to send a link out to your piece, which I read. Google, did you mean Yoda Spaceballs? No, I actually meant Neda Spaceballs.
Maybe there's multiple. Maybe you do Neda Semnani.
No, it's right here. I'm going to tweet I was just looking for it so I could tweet the link out at BP Show. You wrote this great piece for Hypervocal about how Spaceballs predicted 21st century America, and it is perfect.
Thank you.
It's so perfect.
I assume you mean the pros.
Yeah, duh. I mean, duh. How did you come about this? I mean, were you watching it and then it came to you?
I was. I had a night in, as you do, and I decided that I was going to watch, which is not a crazy thing for me to decide, a series of movies that I enjoy, and my go-tos are generally it's like Airplane, Airplane, Caddyshack, but I hadn't watched Spaceballs in so long, and something happened. And I can't think of what. Anyway, so I was watching Spaceballs and going about my business of laughing, and then
business is laughing and business is good. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I wanted to see reviews.
But there's right in the beginning. There's a scene where they could take it to the video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I thought to myself, that is my day. My day is something happens and I have to take it to the video immediately. And then all of a sudden, I realized that there are these moments in Spaceballs which kind of jokingly told the future. But I think the number one thing that people have been super excited about was yogurt.
Yes.
Yogurt. Yeah.
Yes. Because you know that everything's a parody in the movie, right? So instead of Yoda, they have yogurt, right? Get into that, like, because it's like.
Well, so what I remember about growing up is maybe you would have like a Dannon with the fruit at the bottom, like yogurt in America. Not a thing.
Right.
Then all of a sudden.
TCBY.
Yeah.
But like that wasn't even
for a couple years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it was, I'm convinced.
Show me a TCBY today.
Yeah. Like it was soft serve. Let's be clear. Different. It's different.
Those were screams. That was ice cream. That was not yogurt.
That was not yogurt.
Yeah.
And then something happened in the mid-aughts. And that thing was yogurt.
Totally.
It was Greek yogurt. There was froyo. There was pinkberry. You're all froyo, but you know what I mean. And every kind of yogurt. Like I go to the farmer's market and someone's like, I just milked this out of a goat and here's my yogurt and it's new and it's not pasteurized and that's like a thing I have to think about now. Anyway.
I'm a froyo freak.
So, but how did Mel Brooks know? He created an entire character that is called the Great Yogurt and that has like his whole shtick is merchandising. Like how many different ways he can package himself to sell it, and this movie that he's in to sell it to the consumer. And that is so brilliant because that is exactly what there is, a yogurt somewhere behind that curtain in America.
Absolutely.
And he's getting us, or getting us to buy all of it.
when you go into like a mall in Des Moines, right? And they've got Froyo, and they call it Froyo, right? I guess the first one was Pinkberry.
Yeah.
Have you ever had Pinkberry?
I have.
No, it's poisonberry. It's nasty.
It's not
It's straight
what
up
I thought
nasty.
it was going to be.
No.
I actually, in preparation of the show, I made homemade frozen yogurt yesterday. I know. I got an ice cream maker.
What's wrong with you?
I'm a weirdo. It's lavender honey, though. So take that.
How precious is that?
I know. I was like, I'm basically kittens and like birds.
You know, I go to the Froyo shop and I get like the cookies and cream and the dulce de leche, and then I just top it with a bunch of candy. And I'm like, no, it's healthier than ice cream.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then you're like, but it isn't.
But it's totally not.
But it's not.
But I've convinced myself of the lie.
What about gelato? Do you think that's healthy?
Oh, I ride hard for gelato. I love gelato.
Oh my God, there's warring gelato shops on my block now.
Gelato is ice cream, though. I mean,
well, yeah. I actually have no idea what it is.
Well, it's milk, isn't it? It's milk instead of cream.
Whatever. All I know is that they're gonna dance fight soon for dominance over my block.
In our preparation for the show, you also told me that you wrote about manatee sex this week.
did.
I'd like to hear about that.
Oh, would you? Mm-hmm. There was a female manatee that washed up on this island that is called something like Disappearing Island in Florida, which I'm pretty sure is like all of Florida.
Basically.
But couldn't move, distressed, because she had been mating for 6 hours and was worn out. So they had to bring in the Fish and Wildlife Commission to save her. And the puns. Someone was like, this is the best animal humble brag ever. Someone else was like, Slade, my former coworker, said, oh, the huge manatees.
Oh, no.
But I just felt for her. 6 hours, it's long. 6 hours of doing anything is too much.
6 hours of
too much doing stuff.
I mean, sex in the water. Well, there's no.
I don't know much about being a manatee, but I would. I
don't know much about manatees being a manatee either.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Pants on fire live.
PolitiFact represent. I don't know much about being a manatee.
So that was my manatee sex story.
Okay, 53 minutes past the hour. It is time for a little break. We're going to take a very short break, but then we'll be right back. Peter Ogburn and Neda Semnani filling in for Bill Press today. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It is possible to read the history of this country as one long struggle to extend the liberties established in our Constitution to everyone in America. In other words, who, according to our laws and culture, gets to be considered a person? The law creates legal personhood, and movements create law and change culture. So, how have the courts passed laws to shape our culture? That history goes way back before Citizens United. 1819, Dartmouth College versus Woodward, Supreme Court case, turned a corporate charter from a government-granted charter to a contract. This ruling gave corporations standing within the Constitution. 1886, Santa Clara County versus Southern Pacific Railroad. Though the court did not rule on corporate personhood, the decision was subsequently cited as a precedent to hold that a private corporation is entitled to the same 14th Amendment rights of due process and equal protection as human beings. This makes it impossible for us to make laws that treat local businesses any differently than giant multinational corporations, even if their business practices are deemed to be harmful to workers, the environment and communities, or if they have a history of violating the law. Hale versus Henkel, 1906. The court granted corporations the Fourth Amendment search and seizure protection. Dodge versus Ford Motor Company, 1919. The Michigan Supreme Court says the business corporation is organized and carried on primarily for the profit of the stockholders. Stockholder primacy is established. The purpose of the corporation, according to the court, is no longer to serve the public good, as it had been. It is now to maximize profit for shareholders above all else. Pennsylvania Coal Company versus Mahon, 1922. Corporations get the Fifth Amendment takings clause, meaning if you pass a regulation that impacts a corporation's ability to make a profit, that is deemed a taking, and they can sue for the right to future profits lost. This creates a chilling effect, and local and state governments become much more hesitant to pass laws in the public interest for fear that corporations can claim loss of potential profits that cities and states will be on the hook to pay. Buckley versus Vallejo, 1976. The Supreme Court rules that spending money to influence elections is protected under the First Amendment, in effect saying that money is speech. Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission, 2010.
Today, the Supreme Court of Chief Justice John Roberts declared that because of the alchemy of its 19th century predecessors in deciding that corporations had all the rights of people, any restrictions on how these corporate beings spend their money on political advertising are unconstitutional.
The court's ruling threatens to undermine the integrity of elected institutions across the nation. It's a rejection of the common sense of the American people.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Yes, it is the Bill Press Show. Very short on time here, so we're just going to get right into the coming news of the day. We will have the Supreme Court. It's going to be releasing a couple more decisions today, including Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby contraception, because the ladies taking birth control.
Yeah, it's getting a little hot in here all of a sudden.
So with their sexuality.
It's Hobby Lobby versus Obamacare. They are challenging the mandate that says that employers must give birth control to their employees, and they're fighting it on religious grounds. They're a very religious organization. How do you think that's going to go?
I mean, in my obviously we've established my bona fides for talking about this.
Absolutely.
No, but I think I honestly don't know.
I know. I don't either. It's a real toss-up.
Part of me thinks that the Supreme Court is going to uphold the Obama administration. But, it's a 5-4 majority generally when it comes down to it. So I really think it'll be worth watching, but the more interesting thing is what that's going to change. And how that might play out in the larger discussion of gender, sexuality, and our reproductive rights.
I think that no matter what happens, I think it's going to be a very, very close decision with the Hobby Lobby. I think it's going to be a 5-4, very close. So we will see, and we'll talk about it here tomorrow with Bill. He's going to be back tomorrow.
There's also the union decision today, which is also really big.
There is that, which we'll talk about that as well. All right, the show's over.
Bye.
I know. Neda Semnani, thank you so much for coming in. My name is Peter Ogburn. You can follow me at Peter Ogburn, her at Neda_Semnani.
This is the Bill Press Show.